So this is a little bonus episode of Up the Waterfall.
Ooh, yay.
That you promised you would do, and now you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we had so many fun materials all around that we were looking at. I thought I should show y'all if you were wondering what kind of things we were looking at.
A tiny glimpse into the library of Scott Otis.
Yeah, for the making of, 5 parts of EPCOT Center, I thought I'd just round up a bunch of my EPCOT Center stuff, and that's kind of what I did. And some of you have probably seen a lot of these things, but maybe some of them will be new. But prominent, of course, was the original Walt Disney's EPCOT Center book, the Creating the New World of Tomorrow, published by Abrams and written by Mr. Beard. There's actually 2 versions of this. One that actually has some photographs after the park opened.
I heard there was 3 versions. Is that incorrect?
Yes, but I'm talking about the big version because there are 2 versions of sizes. But this is a fun one that has all kinds of
furious page-turning noises.
Yes. And it goes through, it basically talks about the creation of EPCOT Center and goes through each of the fun pavilions. This one is the post-opening because here's a photograph of Imagination after it opened.
Uh-huh.
But this is a great one.
Where's your other copies?
Downstairs. But yeah, this was my original baby that I got right after the park opened. And of course, there's actually
a handy-dandy pocket size.
Well, it's not pocket size, but it's probably about half of the size. And it's essentially the same book, but just very condensed if you look at the difference of
Is that
thicknesses.
all like current park opened photos? Does it take out like the planning stuff?
No, I think what it is mainly it's shortened, but it's all about there's fewer photographs. But this is also post-opening, as you can see. There's a guy in fun little shorts.
They only wore those after it opened.
That's right.
But yeah, so it's just a condensed version, if you will. But I do have both of the.
How many copies do you have?
I think 3 of these and 3 different versions of the big one. So nothing major. And of course, we mentioned this, I believe, in our original
yes,
episode.
Mine's in slightly better
we
shape
both
than
have
yours.
the 1984 Steve Birnbaum Guide to Walt Disney World, which is what we use to plan our trips to EPCOT Center. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Birnbaum Guide.
They still make them to this day.
Oh yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I don't know
Mine
who
got
buys them.
separated because I used it so much, but there it is, the first EPCOT Center guide, or the first official guide with the Epcot right there. So that's fun.
Mine has weird newspaper clippings in it.
This, as you may recognize, is the original EPCOT Center guidebook with the spinny wheel. But this is actually square in shape, and you open it up like this. It's got a little map, and then you keep opening, and there's little pages that come down. One for Future World, one for World Showcase. But the fun feature is at the bottom, where it talks about all the different things, and you turn the little wheel and it says what it is, Germany, and it's got a little fact about Germany, and you can spin it to Italy, Japan, and all the rest. And on the back side, it even talks about, because back then all of these were sponsored by Eastman Kodak, you turn the wheel and it's got all kinds of future fun Kodak cameras.
It's very reminiscent of a disc camera.
Yeah, like a disc camera. And you turn it around, and boom.
Worth the price of admission alone.
So this is great. And of course, I have, those did not last too long. And then they did regular park maps like this. But this one's circa 1985. Once again, sponsored by Kodak, and with the film on the background. And then, this was back in the day when you had more than just a fold-out map.
This was probably the reason Kodak went out of business.
Oh, it very well could be.
The cost of these alone.
This was circa 1985, and it talks about the future Living Seas Pavilion. But this is the kind of park map I remember. It's just multiple pages with different pavilions on each page. Good times. And you may remember the Epcot outreach that we talked about at Communicore. Mm-hmm. They actually put out a field guide this one's called Epcot's Field Guide. Take a closer look at our world. And it's just a fun guide that they would give out to folks. And on each page is a list of attraction facts and even a little quiz at the end for all the different pavilions, both Future World and World Showcase. Epcot Outreach also put out this guide when they changed from Epcot Outreach to the Epcot Discovery Center. And it's kind of more modern, and it's in the shape of a regular field guide with facts and quizzes on each of the World Showcase pavilions. And then actually the opposite side, you turn it this way, and it's got Future World on the other side.
I've never seen that before.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's actually fun ones there. And you probably may remember these. These are the old pictorial souvenirs that they would sell at Centorium. And I just have the couple that were sold right after Epcot opened. This one and this one. Oh yeah, you have the same. And then of course we have the first one after the Hollywood Studios opened up. But that's not what we're talking about right now. Disney, actually a different publisher, actually also put out a couple of photo books. You may remember the Magic of Disneyland and Walt Disney World that they put out a long time ago. Well, after Epcot opened, they did this Walt Disney World and Epcot Center. It's just literally just a bunch of old-fashioned pictures, with the first part being Magic Kingdom, and then towards the end, that's when they get into Epcot. And it's just literally just fun photographs of old Epcot Center.
This would definitely be a good book to go along with listening to our podcast.
I would agree with you.
There's a lot of things we talked about in here.
Additionally, right after Epcot Center opened, of course, they were trying to get the word out that Epcot Center was coming, and so throughout the nation, in various publications, both in newspapers and in magazines, they would put little sections just talking about the park. And this one actually came from Newsweek magazine, which is a special advertising supplement from Newsweek, just talking about this new park called Epcot Center. And it's essentially a 24-page guide about this brand new park that's coming, and it has advertisements from the different pavilions, or the sponsors, including Eastern Airlines and American Express, Spare Univac. And so this is just a fun little time capsule. That is a Coca-Cola and American Express ad.
She's
But
probably 45. Probably
So yeah, this one came from Newsweek magazine. Additionally, the Epcot Center classroom guide is another one that I happened to come across, and it's actually just one that teachers could use, just talking about all the different these 4 pavilions: Spaceship Earth, Universe of Energy, Horizons, and the Land. And it's just literally like a teacher's guide going through and just talking about fun facts from each of those pavilions, and kind of teaching a class from each of those 4 pavilions perspective. So that is a fun one. But then, of course, before Epcot even opened, they put together a pictorial souvenir, which is this one. And I actually have 2 different versions of this, one with advertising and one without. And this one came out in like early 1982, talking about this brand new park that was coming out. And this is just a fun guide as well, with all the different pavilions featured. And this was before the park opened, so it's a lot of drawings
Concept
about concept art.
I like the page with every logo, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
And then the one
Just
with
scan those
ads,
puppies
it's
in.
essentially the same thing, but with advertising. I think it might have been to a different group. But yeah, even the France one, look, it's a drawing. So that's a fun one. Here's that second guide. It looks very similar, but it's actually square on the end instead of...
To make room for all those ads.
Yeah, like the Bell system, talking about the information age.
That one
So.
seems more interesting.
Yes, well, it is larger, and it
Old
has more
ads are always
pages.
fun.
Yes, so you can look through that.
I'm going to steal this one.
But another very cool thing is that Disney had the foresight to try to teach its new cast members from Epcot Center all about this new park that they were going to have. And so they actually created guidebooks that they were going to give to every cast member that was working in their pavilions to talk about, to be able to talk properly about what EPCOT was. And the first book of that is actually one that encompasses the entire park, and this was called The Spirit of EPCOT Center, an introduction to Walt Disney's greatest dream. And it's got a little fun fact, fun opening from Dick Nunis, a welcome. And it basically just talks about the history, about the creation of everything that led up to EPCOT Center, and then about the creation of the park and the whole ideas behind it. So this was given to each of the cast members that was that opened the park, and actually through its early years of development. But then also, every cast member in their particular pavilion was given a separate booklet. For example, here's one on the American Adventure, which kind of talks about the same thing. The first few pages is about EPCOT overall, but then it talks about just everything that's going on in their pavilion so that they can read it and properly talk about their pavilion and the history of it and the creation of it. And so I have one for American Adventure and China and Germany and the United Kingdom and Italy, Japan, pardon me, Mexico, I already talked about Italy, France, and of course Canada. This was before the creation of Morocco and Norway.
I was just going to say, where's Morocco?
They do not exist.
Look at this cool thing in that book you were
Oh,
previously
that's
mentioning.
right. I forgot. They had the coming soon. They were talking about the future of World Showcase, where they're Israel, Equatorial Africa, and Spain. Coming soon.
Maybe they'll be here soon.
I doubt it. But then also I have the ones for the Future World pavilions, including World of Motion. These have a lot more color. World of Motion, Journey into Imagination, which, let me just thumb through that. Once again, it's had the original story of EPCOT. I believe this is opening pages the same in every book. And just fun facts about the creation of
Oh my gosh, we
each
could have literally
pavilion.
read from these.
That's right. And we probably will in the future. So,
Just
and
do an audio book
fun,
version.
and then at
Yeah.
the end it's
Single
got
one
fun
of
facts. So, Journey into Imagination, Universe of Energy, Horizons. So it actually lasted more than a year. I have the one for the land and Spaceship Earth, but not the Living Seas. So, And then, of course, I even, for those folks that worked in merchandise, there was even a separate book just for that, talking about the history of EPCOT merchandise. So that's a fun one, too. And wait, not to be outdone, there's a separate one for foods. How about that?
I was just actually going to ask if there was a foods one. I didn't realize that.
There really is, yeah. And for some
Why is that
reason,
one sideways?
this one is sideways. But there you go, one for food as well. So, these are really fun to have. And then separately from all of that,
Oh, wait, I want merchandise.
I just have a couple of separate things, including this
Read
one.
them later.
Yeah,
I know, I've never
we're
seen
in
these.
we're in the middle of a podcast.
All right, I'm paying attention.
General Electric actually put together a little magazine called Horizons, talking and telling their employees all about this new thing that they were working on. And so it's got some fun interviews with the people who created Horizons, the attraction. And so there's some fun stories in there. One of the things I like, it's got this nice thing here at the this picture at the end, which of course was the image of Horizons. And
That's the mural I think we should put on that wall. Over
yeah, I'm working on it. And it even has a picture of the model that they used in the ending sequence to Horizons when you choose your own ending. It shows the people walking around that model
Very cool.
of the sea castle one.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Please
for
do.
A programming note on
Yes. What do you have for us?
the last episode, actually, the last World Showcase episode, when I talked about Germany, and I was wondering if it was always a buffet.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't.
Oh,
And
my.
reading this, I now remember that you could order things off of a menu. So when I said that they brought over like the soft pretzels on a stick,
Okay.
that was a thing. And then there was an array of authentic dishes: chicken roasted on a spit, smoked pork loin, various German-style sausages, and sauerbraten make the choice a difficult one. So I'm pretty sure, because I used to order like, the thing that's like a chicken cutlet situation. I forget what that's called now because I haven't eaten it in so long. Anyway, that's that update. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's great. It's always fun to find a new note. I actually also have the press release of the opening of Wonders of Life, which has a lot of vintage photography with here's a photograph of the entrance, and it also has a fun caption at the back of each. And then just various press releases from all of the different portions of EPCOT Center.
Wow.
So
that's
I'm sorry, not EPCOT Center. This is Wonders of Life. And then I also have the same thing from many years earlier from the opening of the Land Pavilion. And so since this was 1982 versus that one being 89, these ones are a lot more old-fashioned and just literally just stapled pieces of paper together.
Those.
Yes, hand-typed, but it does have fun photos in the back as well. So that's good. I don't have the press releases for all of the different pavilions, but I do have those ones.
So feel free to send them if you have them.
Yes, please.
Wow, look at this. This one's from Caribbean Beach.
There you go.
That
was open the same year.
Stuck in with the Wonders of Life thing. That's funny.
Okay.
Sorry.
Also, you may remember the original Walt Disney Treasures tin DVDs of a series I wish that they would please continue. This one is the Tomorrowland one, which if you open it, you'll see why this is important to EPCOT Center. That's right, opening the fun tin, which at that time was a limited edition set. I'm not sure what the limit was, but I happened to...
A number.
It says right here. This one was 105,000. So here's my certificate of authenticity. But the reason that this one is included is because there's a lot of EPCOT on this, including it has the original, of course, Ward Kimball space specials, Man in Space, Man in the Moon, and Mars and Beyond, of course. But it also has EPCOT, the original film that Walt Disney made in October of 1966, selling the idea of EPCOT Center, or actually even Walt Disney World, to both the state of Florida as well as companies and things like that. So basically saying, hey, we were very successful in this idea for Disneyland, so now we're going to build Disney World in Florida, and it will lead to EPCOT, the city. And so he talks about that in this special. So if you ever get a chance to get this DVD, the Tomorrowland DVD,
not to be confused with the 2015.
Not to be confused with the movie called Tomorrowland, but I do recommend that because it has that original film. And then of course I want to end this by talking about the comic book that they would actually hand out as you exited the Universe of Energy back in the day, where it starred Mickey Mouse and Goofy going through the Universe of Energy. And this was actually a free thing that they would hand out to every guest. That was always fun to be able to have something free in the parks.
To be free.
It is fun to be free, which is a fun song. But anyway, those are some of the, not all, but some of the fun things that I had regarding EPCOT Center. You have any thoughts?
Well, I don't know if you saw that tweet from Jeff Lepak the other day, who was saying that in, I think 2 episodes ago now, I read that Dateline Disneyland thing and did like the press release in that voice. And he said we should do a separate offshoot podcast of just me reading press releases in that voice.
That would be
and
great.
Look, there's a press release right here. So I could do that.
You want to do one? Or at least a little taste of one. How about
Lake Buena Vista, Florida, highlighted by the premiere of The Wonders of Life and thrill ride Body Wars at EPCOT Center. Walt Disney World is kicking off a new season that includes the opening of a new fly-through attraction and the debut of a sing-along character parade in the Magic Kingdom, a Star Wars-based adventure in the Disney MGM Studios theme park, and a 758 fantasy-designed hotel in all-new resort area. Sorry, I skipped a couple of words there. That was fast.
That's great,
anyway,
though.
nobody really wants to hear that except Jeff, maybe, and me.
Well,
'cause
but
I
that
think
was
it's
fun.
funny, but
So
This is
perhaps
from Charlie
a future
Ridgway.
idea.
Did you know? Well, you probably
Well,
did
yeah,
know that because you
Charlie
have this.
Ridgway,
That's
yeah.
pretty funny. You have his business card now.
That's right.
Cool
So
stuff,
there you go.
man.
Here's some of the fun little things I have regarding EPCOT Center that I use whenever I need to find out some fun facts. I kind of go to my library, and here's just a couple of fun things from there.
Someday we'll have to do a live stream of your library when it is open to the public.
Okay, and I'll have to distribute some library cards to those that are eligible.
Yeah.
Right now, there's only one.
Aw, look at me. I'm so lucky.
I'm right here, guys.
We're working on it. All right, so thank you for tuning in. And if you
Yeah.
have any thoughts on that, just give
Any questions on any of these, drop us a line.
Yes,
Scott can
please.
give you more info.
a whole stack here.
I guess I'll do a corresponding post that lists
Sure.
all of these books in writing so people can look them up on eBay if they want, I suppose.
Yeah, a lot of these will only be able to be found there, but
I think most of them.
yeah. But yeah.
So that was our little bonus show and tell library hour.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Up
Catch
the
us on
Waterfall.
Up the Waterfall.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Well, that's only part of it. We got a big climatic scene.
But how could you top it?
Well, we set the place on fire, and we have our audience trapped down in this flaming city.
And how can they get out then?
Well, now you got into this mess by going down a waterfall. Now, how would you suppose we get them out of there?
By going up the waterfall?
That's right. Anything's possible in Disneyland.